YouTube, it's time. It's time. If you haven't seen the movie, well, you wouldn't click. If you click this video, I'm not gonna lie. If you click this video and you haven't seen the movie yet, you're just, I don't know what's wrong with you. Literally something is wrong with you, bro. It's time. Didn't get the Wolverine one, bro. I'm pretty sure the Wolverine Cup. I'm pretty sure the Wolverine Cup was sold out, bro. I'm not gonna lie. I think it was it wasn't even on the it wasn't even on the screen. Oh, that's the on Lyrical Lemonade too. What? But yeah, it wasn't even on, not the screen. It wasn't even on the station, bro. Like you couldn't even. I don't even think I can get it. It was like a cup. There was a Wolverine cup, and then there was the skull.
You just be talking clearly.
Where was the Wolverine face? Bowl.
Okay, Dante.
Exactly. There was a Wolverine cup, but bro, there was a Wolverine. There's like a Wolverine bowl with his mouth open. That's for the popcorn, right? All right, chat. All right. It's time. This movie I seen twice. I seen twice already, bro. And we are here. I seen it once with Danielle. I seen it again.
Chat, the cup was sold out. He used to be lying.
No, bro. I didn't say the cup. There's a bowl.
They said cup, and then you said the cup was sold out.
No, chat. There's a bowl, right? Chat, isn't there a bowl?
Chat, he said the cup was sold out.
Gosh.
Did he just say that?
Oh my god, bro.
I
Chat.
just watched it.
Okay, you know I be mixing up words, bro. I literally said cipher when I meant like con, bro.
He said cup. You said cup.
Oh my god. Okay. Oh my god. Congratulations, you're right. Yo, chat. Panel next year canceled. We're not doing it. We're not doing it, bro. I changed my mind. Okay, here. All right, but chat. See, first time seen it. Seen it with Danielle. Second time seen it with all of the homies, bro. I put them on. I was telling, well, they wanted to see it, but like I feel like they was bullshitting, bro. I feel like they wasn't taking it as serious as they should have took it. So I told them, I was like, yo, Berlin, yo, PG, yo, Joe, like, yo, Rico, like, yo, Mari, these movies, yo, Poise, like, this movie is like, you not understanding. This shit is fire. You need to see it, bro. So I bought them all tickets. We all saw the movie, and guess what? When they got out, oh my gosh, they loved it. They loved it, man. Shout out to me, W-Mans.
Rockstars, I'm Eric Voss, and this is a breakdown of every Easter egg and detail you missed in Deadpool and Wolverine.
So I'm gonna let y'all know now, there will be a lot of pausing, because when it gets to a part that I really liked, I'm going to talk about it, and I'm gonna tell you exactly what I liked and why I liked it, bro, because I need to glaze this movie to death, because it deserves it, bro.
The 2016 Deadpool film was the first Marvel movie I broke down on YouTube.
Look at you, bruh. So adorable, man. 7 years ago.
And this year, I made it my mission to rewatch all of the X-Men movies that I grew up
Oh,
with.
you're
to learn
real.
Everything I could
You're
about
real.
this film.
You're a real
and
one.
everything that paved the road to it. And it was all for this moment, so that I could be the sharpest expert I could be as I break down Deadpool and Wolverine shot by shot, all the big cameos and references and inside jokes, but also just the really subtle details and super layered wordplay that make this movie special. Guys, we are so back, and we need to savor every little morsel. Let's fucking go! And by the way, I am wearing our Deadpool and Wolverine inspired face-off shirt, and grabbing one of these at nerdriot.shop will be the best way to support new rock stars. Okay, we open with an updated Marvel Studios title logo. Steve Rock.
I'm gonna start, chat. I'm gonna start. I was already chuckling, bro. I was already chuckling when I hear Ryan Reynolds. It's just like, yo, I just knew when I heard that it was about to be a good movie. Chat, I'm so happy right now. I feel like we're like in peak prime Marvel, and I hope that feeling continues once like they drop more trailers, because you know, I don't want to say they reeled me back in, but you know, seeing that RDJ announcement, I'm not gonna lie, my hook it's caught in my cheek. I'd like, it's tugging, but you know, I'm not finna move yet, but it's tugging.
Rogers' hurled shield flies past Deadpool's head now as he turns back to camera. This is from the 2016 Deadpool film right after Angel Dust punched Colossus past Deadpool in that final battle in the scrapyard. So not only does it look like Deadpool is like dodging Cap's shield, we're just watching it go by his head, so impressed, setting up his salute to Steve Rogers, followed by getting Chris Evans' Johnny Storm killed in this movie. Ryan Reynolds is also leading this movie by sneaking in a Gina Carano hero moment as he is joining the Disney universe after that same company fired her for The Mandalorian and she's now suing them. That's fun. The top of the
She's suing them? Oh my God, I did not know that.
A in the Marvel logo is now Carol, Monica, and Kamala from the Marvels. And as the word pulls away from us, the M now contains the shot of Deadpool beckoning.
I need this, chat. I need this. Kratos, you know I love you. You know I love you, bro. I need this as a screensaver. I need that. I need that. Look at that's such a hard shot.
Logan from the back of the Honda Odyssey in this movie. We also hear Deadpool humming along with Michael Giacchino's theme music as the red backdrop turns into the texture of Deadpool's suit, and Marvel and studios turn red and yellow to match this movie's title. Deadpool giggles, ho, 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 ho. That logo music just gets you pumped. The opening scene shows Deadpool in the snowy forests of North Dakota near the Canadian border, Logan's gravesite from the 2017 Logan film. We broke down that movie here, and we recapped everything you need to know about Marvel's full history here in this video.
The title says that is a spoiler, right?
But just to summarize, in that movie, Wolverine, in the main Fox X-Men universe of Earth 10005, in a story set 5 years or so after what seemed to be the happy ending of X-Men Days of Future Past, struggled in a depressing near future where the X-Men were dead from one of Professor Xavier's psionic seizures, and mutants had been eradicated from toxins in the food supply. Logan had to escort his clone, X-23, Laura, played by the young Daphne Keane, from El Paso to the Canadian border to join a group of young mutant runaways, all bred from the DNA of past mutants like him. Logan has to fight an adult clone of himself called X-24, and he gets impaled on a tree branch where he finally bled out and died. The kids buried him at this gravesite, and Laura turned the cross to form an X. Hugh Jackman announced at that point that he was retiring playing the role, and audiences accepted this as a fitting farewell. Arguably the best of the X-Men franchise and one of the best superhero movies of all time. And when Ryan Reynolds announced this film in 2022, he and Hugh Jackman promised that they wouldn't touch the events of the 2017 Logan film, but here he says, for a long time, I wasn't sure if I'd ever be back. Disney bought Fox. There was a whole boring rights issue, blah, 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 blah. But then it turned out they wanted me. The one guy
and it's so crazy because he literally used every part of his body as a weapon. So he literally desecrated his body.
Shouldn't even have his own movie, much less a franchise. Marvel's so stupid. Deadpool is, of course, referring to Disney's buyout of Fox's film and TV properties in 2019. Originally, Marvel had sold the film rights for the X-Men, the Fantastic Four, and Daredevil and Elektra, and a few other characters. Originally, Marvel had sold, referring to Disney's buyout of Fox's film and TV properties in 2019. Originally, Marvel had sold the film rights for the X-Men, the Fantastic Four, and Daredevil and Elektra, and a few other characters to Fox in the late 90s, and that's why the Fox X-Men films and Deadpool occupied the separate cinematic universe that Kevin Feige's Marvel Cinematic Universe, which has been owned by Disney ever since 2009. Fox was worried after their failed 2015 Fantastic Four reboot and the declining popularity of the X-Men franchise after the departure of Hugh Jackman and issues with like Bryan Singer on 2016's X-Men Apocalypse film. In fact, many believe that Singer would have to be credited as a producer on any live-action X-Men film thereafter, and that still might be a case for a time, which is maybe why this has taken so long. So Rupert Murdoch really had to leverage the popularity of Deadpool and Disney's interest in archive TV content for the launch of Disney Plus to juice up the deal to $71.3 billion. Other than cameos by Patrick Stewart, Charles Xavier in Multiverse of Madness, and Kelsey Grammer as Beast in the Marvels, Deadpool and Wolverine is the first of these Fox properties to get its own film under the Marvel Studios banner, and it reunites Kevin Feige with Hugh Jackman, who met on the set of the first Fox X-Men film, where Feige got his start as an associate producer. So Deadpool continues. Look, we know the title of this thing, so I bet you're wondering, how are we going to do this without dishonoring Logan's memory? I'll tell you how. We're not. And we are back to the same grave as Deadpool literally digs up Logan's corpse. Of course he does this. The final scenes in Logan near the Canadian border were actually filmed at the remote Corkins Lodge in northern New Mexico near Chama. It looks like they recreated these woods maybe on a backlot set and used VFX to recreate the same mountainous background, but they even included the same felled tree that Wolverine died on and the Reaver truck that Richter overturned with an earthquake. We hear the Platters' 1959, Only You. as Deadpool flings dirt past an I like me heart mug that we find out later Deadpool got from that TVA clerk. Deadpool's shovel clanks on metal,
I didn't
with
even catch
adamantium,
that.
and he angrily hacks away at the remains. But Deadpool calms down and sits beside Logan's adamantium-covered skeleton, leaning against the same tree where Logan was impaled. While all other tissue has decayed, the adamantium has kept it all intact, like a liquid metal cast of an ant colony. It's kind of a cursed existence for these remains. Even in death, Logan could not escape the adamantium. So arguably, by dismantling the bones into these weapons, Deadpool is kind of scattering Wolverine and letting him rest. Arguably. Deadpool says, imagine the fun, the chaos, the residuals. And then he puppets Logan's skull. Good day, mate. There's nothing that will bring me back to life faster than a big old bag of Marvel cash. It recalls the opening words of the 2016 Deadpool movie when Deadpool was seated on the overpass and invoked Hugh Jackman in a similar way.
It does rhyme
This
with
is the guy who was
Wolverine.
behind Deadpool's
Let me tell you.
mask who danced to Bye Bye Bye.
Wait, let me see. Cause he was hitting, bro. He was hitting that dance. I ain't gonna lie. He absolutely killed that shit. Yo, are you serious? Wait, really? It's an honor of my life to play Deadpool. Yo, thank you so much for this incredible life-changing opportunity. No way, that's so fire. There's no way. That's so fire, bruh. Yo. Nah, you got that on your resume, dog. You got that on your resume, bruh.
He's got a nice pair of smooth criminals down under.
TVA time doors open up and the lead agent calls out, Wade Winston Wilson, you are under arrest for crimes against the Time Variance Authority. Yes, he uses his full name from the comics, including the middle name of Winston, which makes his initials WWW. The TVA uniforms in this movie have changed from the Hunter uniforms we saw in the Loki series. In the Loki series, the pants and shirts included Harlequin patterns of black and burnt orange. They never covered their faces with masks, and their armor was emblazoned with the TVA logo and their Hunter ID numbers, but there are no numbers on the Hunters in this movie, which is a clue that points to Paradox's division being off the books in the TVA, a kind of black ops that he personally oversees, where the cops hide their badge numbers and conceal their identities. Deadpool raises his hand from behind the tree, shouting, wait! A callback to him doing this from behind the SUV on the freeway in the 2016 movie, which led to the 12-bullet countdown sequence. This movie heightens that with Wolverine's bones, as Wade promises not to use any of his weapons, but then tells us there are 206 bones in the human body, 207 if I'm watching Gossip Girl. This is Ryan Reynolds shouting out his wife, Blake Lively, who starred in Gossip Girl.
Oh, I did not know that.
This movie later on as Lady Deadpool. Deadpool tells Wolverine's
I did not
skeleton,
watch
okay,
Gossip
Peanut,
Girl.
I guess we're getting a team up after all. Peanut is Deadpool's recurring nickname for Wolverine in this movie, and it's also what Scott Lang calls his daughter Cassie. The opening credits are set to NSYNC's Bye Bye Bye, and Deadpool even does the exact choreography
So
from the music
good,
video.
bro.
Each of the film credits are printed on one of Wolverine's adamantium bones.
I love how
and
they
one of
did
these
that.
bones Deadpool uses as that 207th bone that he referred to, shoving it in a TVA agent's crotch and sliding his hand down it suggestively.
Stroking
One
it.
credit reads, produced by Kevin Feige and Lauren Schuler Donner. Now, Feige got his start as an assistant to longtime Hollywood producer Lauren Schuler Donner, wife to Superman director Richard Donner. After X-Men 2000, Feige left the Donner Company to work for Marvel full-time as a producer. So this isn't just a courtesy. Schuler Donner is a legacy producer credited on nearly all X-Men and Wolverine movies because she was that crucial to the character of Wolverine and to the franchise. And I just like that
How'd they
this
get the
movie brought
footage?
Feige and Schuler Donner back together.
Well, they get stuff from the trailer, but I'm pretty sure they just grab shit online. It's crazy.
Credits. But the red blood on the white snow is just such a contrast to anything we've seen in the MCU before. And I think Sean Levy might have decided to make it snowing in the scene so that the blood would show up more vibrantly.
Yeah.
Deadpool reassembles Wolverine's claws on his forearms, which must have taken quite a bit of time to do. Like, I imagine he would have had to strap one part of it on and be like, oh, God, shit, and go over and kill a few guys and then go back to strap another part of it on. But it would be so worth it
This
for
was
him
so
to
hard.
cosplay as Wolverine. Deadpool pauses here to take us back, and the camera rotates to his ass. ass. This is a callback to the first edit away from the freeway sequence in the 2016 film, which pushed in on his butt, and then match cut to another butt earlier in Wade's life, which Reynolds and the screenwriters called their ash to ass Requiem for a Dream transition. The Safdie brothers actually did a similar transition in Uncut Gems, zooming into the precious stone in the opening scene, and then coming out through Adam Sandler's colon. By starting this film in the middle of the action and then flashing back to how we got there, Deadpool and Wolverine's first act uses similar structuring as the 2016 film, which opened on the freeway, and then flashback to Wade's days as a mercenary before becoming Deadpool. Here, we rewind time using cables.
The fact that all this started with that initial like leak on the internet, that whole scene on the internet.
Time travel wristwatch device from Deadpool 2, reviewing everything Deadpool did in the first two films.
That's crazy.
Just to recap, he was a mercenary who fell in love with Vanessa. He got cancer. He sought alternative treatments, which led him to Francis, aka Ajax, who scarred him but left him with healing abilities. And then he hunted Francis down. He met Colossus and Negasonic Teenage Warhead. He fought Francis on the scrapyard helicarrier and ended up killing him, despite what Colossus begged him not to do. Then in Deadpool 2, he lost Vanessa from assassins. He joined the X-Men, including Yukio, Negasonic Teenage Warhead's new girlfriend, and he helped save the young, abused mutant Russell from the time-traveling assassin Cable. And he formed an X-Force and watched most of them die. And then he joined forces with Cable to stop Russell from destroying his abusive orphanage, sacrificing himself but using Cable's time travel device to prevent his own death. And then in the post-credit sequence, continuing to use the device to save Vanessa, to save Peter and Shatterstar and the X-Force, to shoot Ryan Reynolds in the head before making Green Lantern, and then killing his alternate self as Weapon 11 in 2009's X-Men Origins Wolverine. Those last few are what we've rewind back through here as we arrive at March 14th, 2018, Universe 616 Sacred Timeline. It's Pi Day, but this would be right before the snap in the MCU timeline, which occurs in May 2018. The Avengers would still be spread out following the events of Civil War. So at Avengers Compound generally would be Tony Stark and James Rhodes, Happy Hogan, Pepper Potts, but Steve Rogers, Natasha Romanoff, Sam Wilson would all be fugitives on the run. Bucky would still be in Wakanda. Wanda and Vision would be moving place to place throughout Europe, probably around this time in Edinburgh. Thor and Bruce Banner were off-world following the events of Thor Ragnarok. Clint was on his farm with his family in Missouri, and Scott Lang would be under house arrest in San Francisco, and this right now would be soon before the events of Ant-Man and the Wasp. So it makes sense that it would be a relative ghost town when Wade Wilson came to visit the compound in March 2018. But here, Jon Favreau cameos as a clean-shaven and de-aged Happy Hogan. This would be a few months after Happy moved out all of Tony's collections from Avengers Tower in Manhattan to the upstate New York compound, which we saw in Spider-Man Homecoming. And it's why this office, which I assume is Tony's office,
bro, I was just like, damn, he look good. He still look good, bro. Like he still look young.
Is filled with Easter eggs. Here's everything I spotted. On and around the desk, we see the cover of Forbes from Iron Man 3 featuring Pepper Potts, and the headline, Pepper Potts Stirs Up Stark. The prototype Captain America shield from Tony Stark's workshop that he used to prop up the machinery in Iron Man 2. Tony's silver-colored, I think Mark II helmet before it was painted red and gold. A Chinese terracotta head, which might be from the events of Iron Man 3 with the Mandarin, or who they thought was the Mandarin, but was actually Aldrich Killian. The swinging sticks desk ornament that drove Tony Stark crazy in Iron Man 2. Tony's original arc reactor, the one with proof Tony Stark has a heart. This would be years before this thing would be placed on his funeral wreath in Avengers Endgame. A golden winged trophy statuette, and what looks like a Captain America trading card, perhaps the one that Nick Fury took from Agent Coulson's locker and smeared with his blood to motivate the Avengers in the 2012 Avengers film. And then elsewhere in the office, on the shelves and walls closer to the door, Tony's Mark V suitcase suit from Iron Man 2.
Oh,
the
that's
one that
so fire! I
slid
didn't
to him
even
in
see
Monaco. A golden statue in the shape of a Mobius strip inverted. This is the shape that 5 years after this would inspire Tony Stark to unlock the secrets of time travel and give the Avengers a way to undo the snap in Endgame. And then this framed photo of Tony with, it's hard to see him here, but it's Peter Parker. This is a photo that they took as a cover story around the time of Civil War when Peter was holding the Stark internship certificate upside down. We saw this photo in Endgame, and Tony was putting rabbit ears behind Peter. Aww. Now Tom Holland is conveniently covered in this shot because this is a Disney Marvel film, and they would have needed special permission from Sony to feature Tom Holland as Peter Parker in any form in this movie. Now, in front of that picture, that's not an actual Iron Man helmet, it's an Iron Man 2 toy helmet from Hasbro. This is one of my favorite Easter eggs in the movie because this is the toy helmet that the kid was wearing at the Stark Expo in Iron Man 2, that kid from Queens that Kevin Feige later established to be a young Peter Parker, according to Tom Holland when Spider-Man Homecoming was coming out. So not only does this cement that connection in canon on screen, it tells us that Tony Stark always remembered that moment, that kid from the Stark Expo, and later internally made the connection himself and wanted to keep this toy to remember that moment. Also, we see a poster for the 1954 Stark Expo, which we saw Howard Stark promoting Walt Disney style and archive footage in Iron Man 2. And it was this city of tomorrow that inspired Tony to invent a new element that he could use to power his new arc reactor. Wade nervously interviews for a position on the Avengers and apologizes to Happy Hogan for being caught smasturbating in the lobby of Stark Tower, which he defines as when you take two Hulk hands.
This was so funny because I was sitting right next to Sophia, and it's like, it's like there's so much shit that was happening in this movie. It's just like, oh shit.
Toys and ravaged the midsection. I found this line interesting for a number of reasons, because I've always theorized that since Spider-Man No Way Home established that there was no Oscorp in the for a number of reasons, because I've always theorized that since Spider-Man No Way Home.
Look at this. Look at this. Look at this damn suit. Look at this damn suit. Literally just the best. Oh my gosh, it just looks so good.
Established that there was no Oscorp in the MCU, that the spider that bit Peter Parker might have actually been irradiated by Bruce Banner's Gamma Lab that would have been in Avengers Tower, maybe left over after they moved upstate in 2015 after the events of Age of Ultron. And Peter maybe was just a kid who broke into this cool place to snoop around, and that would have been one of many security breaches that led to Happy moving everything upstate. And it's also how Wade could have been caught now. It's also funny to me that Wade calls it Stark Tower now, and that he beelined to that tower looking for the Avengers and didn't know that they moved. So Wade wants to be an Avenger to impress Vanessa because their relationship is on the rocks, which tells us that these relationship troubles were happening almost immediately after Wade brought her back to life using time travel in Deadpool 2. And while that seemed like an easy, happy ending for them, it makes sense that Vanessa would still walk away from that close call pretty traumatized, especially to learn of some alternate timeline where she actually died and consider Wade way too dangerous to be around. Wade asks if Happy was the chauffeur and later asks if his superpower is parallel parking, reminding us of Happy's beginnings as Tony's driver in the earlier films, but starting in Iron Man 3 is when he became head of security. Wade mentions that he was originally Special Forces, an origin that Wade and Weasel talked about in the 2016 film, and he mentions his team experience as the founder of the X-Force, who he said all perished due to what the police called gravity, but also that they didn't focus test well. We know that the members Peter and Shatterstar survived due to Wade's efforts from that post-credit sequence, but I like that he doesn't want to tell Happy that he used time travel to fix everything, and that originally he got them all killed because he just wants to come off as honest and responsible. But Happy points out that Wade wants to be an Avenger because he says he needs it, when really the Avengers do what they do because the world needs them. Which, ouch, he's basically saying, hey Deadpool, no one has ever needed you. This really gives us Wade's whole existential crisis in this movie. He is an outcast to the primetime MCU, but also a misfit toy from his home reality, which makes him vulnerable to false promises to be the savior of the community that rejected him. But ultimately he decides to stay in Earth 10005, that universe that he started in, which is interesting. I also love that Jon Favreau returns for this movie because he originally played Foggy Nelson in the 2003 Daredevil film with Ben Affleck and Jennifer Garner, who shows up later in this movie, and it was on that film where he met Kevin Feige. Originally, the scene in Spider-Man No Way Home where Charlie Cox Matt Murdock appears, they were going to ad-lib a reference to that history where Happy would have said he was trying to remember something, but that he was feeling, quote, a little foggy. So Deadpool returns to Universe 10005, which for years has been our numerical designation for the Fox Marvel universe of the X-Men. This movie establishes that the worlds of the first two Deadpool films to be in that same universe 10005, even though in the past there has been some thinking among fans that Deadpool 1 and 2 belong to a separate universe, Earth 41633. Now, the Deadpool movies are really supposed to be set in the present day,
the audio changed.
Relationship.
It's like he took a break and was like, yo, I gotta come back to this. Holy shit.
The rest of the Fox Marvel world of characters. Like in Deadpool 2, the cast of X-Men from Dark Phoenix, a movie that's supposed to be set in 1992, cameoed in the X-Mansion of the present day. And Deadpool's Colossus is different from the Colossus played by Daniel Cudmore in X2, X-Men The Last Stand, and in Days of Future Past. But clearly, in Ryan Reynolds' mind, Deadpool and these characters existed on the periphery of the X-Men history, which is kind of possible because the events of Days of Future Past altered Universe 10005's timeline so that we don't really know what happened in the modern X-Men history after the events of X1 up until the happy ending depicted at the end of Days of Future Past, which would have been around 2024.
There's so many X-Men
in
movies.
This movie, I think we are somewhere in that revised 10005 universe post Days of Future Past, also sometime around 2024.
remember none of this shit.
You know, the year we are all in right now. But the issue is we're
was that a squirt gun?
sometime...
Didn't they have those type of guns because Magneto could literally just take their guns with ease?
after the events of Logan, if Wolverine is currently dead in 10005, as he's in this movie. And Logan, we know, was set in the year 2029. In fact, Ryan Reynolds knows this as well.
Logan takes place in 2029, totally separate thing.
So I don't know, maybe it's just the way Paradox looks at 1005 is as a universe in which its anchor, Wolverine, will soon die, and eventually that will mean...
I'm so lost. I think he's just like explaining... he's like explaining like just a lot of shit that I'm already gonna forget.
005 is just marked for demolition. It's just best not to think about the timeline stuff too much. Sorry about that. So Wade now works at DriveMax, and they're...
See, he just explained all that just to say it's best not to even think about it. Dude! Okay, they say I'm a yapper. They say I'm a yapper.
Is a suit-up montage parallel to the suit-up montage we see later in the TVA, but there it's red. Here it is blue. In Wade's locker is the book The Canadian Mounted. That was the sexy romance novel that Deadpool really enjoyed reading in the 2016 film and was seen reading in Deadpool 2. This was the book that John Candy was reading in Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, and Reynolds said that that film was a major inspiration for the buddy comedy plot of this film. He staples a toupee to his head and test drives a Kia Carnival. The mom asks how it compares to the Honda Odyssey, and Honda must have paid for a product placement in this movie, but just must have been okay with Ryan Reynolds talking so much shit about the Odyssey the whole movie. But it does end up growing on him when it comes back later in The Void. Rob Delaney returns as Peter, who keeps Wade's suit in his locker. Inside is a sticker with a magpie that might be a reference to the logo for Notts County, the football club that's a rival to Wrexham AFC, the club co-owned by Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney and featured in their Welcome to Wrexham docuseries. Wade and Peter bike back home on Wade Street on the corner of Walker and Main. Now, Walker might be a nod to Walker Scoble, who co-starred with Ryan Reynolds and Sean Levy's previous film, The Adam Project. Wade is photographed by TVA agents disguised as construction workers and surveyors who must be setting up Paradox's Time Ripper in the TVA outpost in the subway station below. But this block will later be the showdown for the final battle between Wade and the Deadpool Corps. The station below, of course, is where Deadpool and Wolverine will have to stop the Time Ripper. It is cool when movies come full circle for their final acts. For example, the Heart of the Day Hotel in the opening scene of The Matrix is the same hotel where Neo confronts Agent Smith in the final act. But I will say, in the case of this movie, the street just kind of looks so much like a cost-saving studio backlot set that you might see on like a sitcom. In fact, when we all saw it in trailers, we just assumed this would be part of The Void. That's how like
so
goofy
fire.
It looked. Like we all thought this would not be something meant to look like the real world. I will say this set just kind of always took me out of the movie a little bit. Wade walks into a surprise party with Peter, and
I was like, this shit
there,
look fire.
Vanessa, Dopinder, Colossus, Negasonic Teenage Warhead, Yukio, Shatterstar, and Buck. And Buck was a mercenary from the Sister Margaret's bar.
According to the Kubler-Ross model, denial is just one of the 5 stages of grief.
Jesus Christ, Buck. No more speaking lines for you.
And Wade actually calls back that line in this scene after he lists off a bunch of hot button political issues and then says, no speaking lines, Buck. Blind Al wants cocaine. In Deadpool 1, Wade said that there was 116 kilos of cocaine hidden in the apartment somewhere right beside the cure for blindness. And then in Deadpool 2, a floorboard is lifted showing Wade's cocaine near a container marked cure for blindness. Wade says,
cocaine is the one thing that Feige said is off limits.
What about Bolivian marching powder?
They know all the slang terms. They have a list.
Even snowboarding?
Even disco dust.
White girl interrupted?
Even forest bump.
It's crazy how you can like do all this killing, like all this killing. I'm talking about like he's literally snapping people's legs and shit like that, but nigga can't do one line, bro. He can't just throw some cocaine in his face and like, you know, get riled up.
Do you want to build a snowman?
Yes! But I can't.
Yes, Wade references one of Disney's biggest hits, Frozen. And in Deadpool 2, Wade observed how Do You Want to Build a Snowman has the same melody as Papa Can You Hear Me from Barbra Streisand's Yentl. Yes, Ryan Reynolds and Wade Wilson are huge Broadway nerds. Wade learns that Vanessa is seeing someone new named Dermot who likes hiking. In the background, we hear Juice Newton's Angel of the Morning, the song that played over the opening shot of the 2016 film. On the walls of Wade and Al's apartment is print art that looks like
I don't give a shit about these Marvel shits, but I enjoy watching these with y'all because it feels like back in elementary school when D teacher rolls in the TV on a rainy day and we in there watching a doc or something. We just be happy we watching something.
Yo, that okay, I get all right, I like that. That's funny, bro. I feel that. Is it raining where y'all are, bro? It's like gloomy where it's like cloudy. I don't think it's raining though.
Liechtenstein prince. Roy Lichtenstein was a
Someone said, "True, I'm lost." True, I'm lost as fuck, man. It's just it's the vibe though, you know?
1960s pop artist known for comic strip inspired parody art, and one of these stills looks like his famous In the Car painting, but it has been reversed with the woman driving, which is just kind of interesting because Deadpool's role in Marvel Comics is to use the medium of comic book cinema as a lens through which he parodies the genre and subverts it by reversing roles just like this. Wade stands over his cake and says that all the people he loves are in this room right now. Sorry, Weasel, TJ Miller was not invited back for this film, and he goes to make a wish. Now, this movie later references The Wizard of Oz, so I'm even more okay than usual drawing this comparison, but in my long-running theory that every American movie is trying to be either The Wizard of Oz or Citizen Kane, basically, is it trying to be a dream or is it trying to be a puzzle? Deadpool and Wolverine is totally trying to be Wizard of Oz, right? Like, the whole movie is Wade's wish fulfillment, and the knock at the door comes precisely when he makes a wish on his birthday candle, as his wish is to be a Marvel hero who matters, an Avenger who's needed. He's transported to a magical dream world in this movie with fantastical weirdos and a little dog too, and he's torn between these warring witch and wizard figures. And ultimately, Deadpool wakes up from the dream and learns to appreciate his home, as there is no place like it.
Bro, I honestly thought the dog was gonna die at the end when it was like that slow motion part of him running. I thought something was gonna happen and the dog was gonna just die.
With this movie, I think Ryan Reynolds might be recognizing that these characters haven't really needed Deadpool in their lives, at least in the past two films. Basically, all this time it's been people worn down by his resolve and his nonstop bits, so they end up just giving in to this needy clown.
I can give you a movie app where you don't where you can watch it for free. You don't have to pay to watch it. Dude.
Who's dealing with this bullshit. And I think Ryan Reynolds is self-aware enough to know that he, as an actor, writer, producer, shares those traits with himself a bit. Like, it was
guys,
he who
I gotta support the actor, man.
Willed this franchise into existence after his pride was stung from the negative reaction to his character in 2009's
Or
X-Men
actors,
Origins
I
Wolverine.
mean.
And rather than wait for the studio to build on that character as they definitely meant to do, or just walk away like a lot of other actors do from bad comic book movies, he was like, no. He found the writers of the best, bloodiest comedy of that year, Zombieland, to produce this new Deadpool script, and then leaked it, and then he pressured Fox into paying for a test shoot, and then leaked that test footage too, all so that he could make this new comic accurate Deadpool with him in complete creative control. Isn't that
bro.
a kind of obsessive trait that Deadpool would do too?
I'm so glad he did that, bro. I'm so glad he did all that.
Was Ryan Reynolds really doing it for us, or was he doing it for himself? Yeah.
Both.
With the success of the Deadpool movies, and now earning a spot in the MCU, I think Ryan Reynolds feels, well, I can't just parade him into the MCU. I have to make him a misfit toy who must first fight through the MCU's trash heap, like the forgotten toys in Toy Story 3 who have to brave the furnace. So it may be enough.
What the, like, yo, we're getting another Toy Story, right? It's a new Shrek, a new Toy Story. Where are we going now? Where are we going with that?
In detail, but
I love Toy Story though, and I love Shrek, so I'm not really mad about that.
this apartment's number is 17, and 17 is a recurring number in the MCU. 17 was one of the Winter Soldier activation words. 17A was a silo number in Avengers Campus that contained Tony Stark's Iron Spider armor in Infinity War, and in that same movie, T'Challa ordered to open Northwest Section 17. Really, the secret to 17 is that it is just a oddly specific prime number, and screenwriters use it because it's simultaneously a lot of something, but also not a ton of something.
He said, damn, still going by, y'all. I ain't gonna lie, this is an hour and 11 minutes, and we haven't even gotten to the parts where I really want to talk about yet. I'm like saving it for when he gets to those parts.
Here,
I'm gonna try to not make this long.
17 is just a sign that Wade and Al can only afford to live in a building with a lot of units in it. Wade thinks that the TVA are erotic dancers or sex workers, thinking their pruning sticks are sex toys.
Pegging isn't new for me, friendo, but it is for Disney.
Yes, pegging isn't new to Deadpool.
Yo, seeing this with a 2026 Avengers Doomsday. Wait. 2026 Doomsday. Wait, chat. What are we getting before Doomsday? I thought Doomsday. Oh no, wait. This is the introduction. Yeah, this is his introduction. Cause it's Secret Wars is the big one. Secret Wars is the big one. Okay. Holy shit. Batman 2 in there. Dune Messiah in there. I'm in there now. You know, Dune 2, I really like Dune 2. I'm gonna watch Dune Messiah. Shrek 5 in there. Jordan Peele's next film. You know you're a good ass director when they just say Jordan Peele's next film and they don't even have a name for it. Holy shit, I'm in there. Supergirl, I'll need to see a trailer. Not being sexist, I'll need to see a trailer. Mandalorian and Grogu the movie. I gotta see a trailer, bro. I like the show, but I don't know. Like, Star Wars has just been doing all types of shit, but you know what? I'm in there, bro. Star Wars untitled film. Need to see a trailer. Holy God, I need to see a trailer for that. Hunger. Also, we're still doing Star Wars. Oh, they're brave. Hunger Games pass. Super Mario Bros. In there. Aang the Last Airbender. I'm gonna need to see a trailer. I'm sleep. I'm gonna need to see a trailer. Not gonna lie. When is Black Ops 2? We're doing Black Ops 2 after we're gonna check out the Yachty Ian shit. Will Smith dropped the song, and then after that, Black Ops 2. Lord of the Rings: The Hunt for God. Wait, there's another Lord of the Rings happening. I'm watching. Frozen 3. Yo, Disney, you're gonna piss me off. I'm in there. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2. And there, that's the animated one, right? With Seth Rogen directed. Yeah. Transformers G.I. Joe. I need to see a trailer. Toy Story 5. I'm in there, but yo, you're pushing it. I'm in there though. Mike Flanagan's The Exorcist. Not really a fan of, like, you know, the horror and really The Exorcist in general, but you know, I'll need to peep a trailer. Street Fighter. I'm in there. Aren't they Raka? What's the Raka whatever? I forgot their actual names though. Like, what are their actual names? Not anymore. What happened? Oh no, wait. They chose to do something else, right? They picked something else over this. They left it. No, if they left this, it had to be for something really, really, really good. It had to be for something really, really, really good. Street Fighter. I need to see a trailer then. I need to see a trailer. Spielberg's UFO movie. Steven Spielberg, UFO movie. I love aliens. I love Steven Spielberg. I'm in there. Project Hail Mary. Need to see a trailer. But oh my gosh, 2026 is looking good. So what the fuck's gonna happen in 2025? What's going on in 2025 then, man?
Vanessa wore a strap-on for International Women's Day during the Calendar Girl montage of the first film. But Wade is brought to the TVA to meet Paradox, played by Matthew McFadden and
this
Tom
dude was funny
from Succession. Mr. Paradox comes from She-Hulk Volume 2, Number 3 in 2005. He was one of the judges of the TVA, who was very quickly killed off when he was hit by a retro cannon. But like all the named characters in the TVA and the MCU, the live-action versions of them are more fully realized with like different motives. So just a reminder, if you didn't watch Loki, the TVA is the Time Variance Authority, responsible for monitoring all the timelines in the multiverse, and originally tasked with pruning branch timelines and the variants who create those branches down to the Void, which is a vast junkyard policed by a guard dog purple smoke monster made of antimatter.
Yeah, I know there's so much shit in here that I probably missed.
The TVA was created by He Who Remains, a variant of the time-traveling villain Kang the Conqueror, and He Who Remains uses the TVA and Alioth to erase all possible branch timelines and histories that could lead to rival Kang variants that would result in a multiversal war breaking back out. In Season 2, the TVA's temporal loom gets overwhelmed, leading to the spaghettification of reality until Loki figures out a way to bypass He Who Remains equation by sacrificing himself and physically holding all strands of time in his hands, sitting alone at the nexus of eternity as a god of stories presiding over all existence alone. So now with Loki in charge, the TVA no longer...
Well, damn, I like I said, I stopped at like Loki. Loki season 1 is when I kind of stopped watching all Marvel, like the Marvel stuff, but that's fire. So is he dead, or is he just like there?
Longer violently prunes branch timelines, but nurtures a flowering multiverse. But Paradox doesn't vibe with the new marching orders. Paradox says
he's just stuck.
That Wade's messing
like
around with Cable's
like the guy who holds the weight of the world on his shoulders.
Walk with me.
That snap sounded a lot like the snap from the Disney Plus animation. Paradox explains that Wade has been selected for some mysterious higher purpose to save the sacred timeline from a possible grisly fate sometime in the future. Paradox turns on the video screens, which show clips of Steve Rogers' Captain America from MCU past. We see fighting Loki in Germany in 2012 Avengers, wielding Mjolnir in the Battle of Earth in Endgame, leading the Howling Commandos, bashing in through the door on that World War II mission against Hydra in the first Captain America film in 2011. We see Cap saluting from the past Captain America film, while on the right you can see the airport battle from Civil War with Wanda.
Yo, chat, I'm getting, it's like seeing all this stuff, it's like getting me excited again, because the fact that this movie did so well just this weekend, I feel like they're gonna be taking more risks with stuff if they do it right. I feel like they're gonna take more risks and probably push more, not more R ratings, but like, you know, more, you know, shit though, like crazy shit though.
In Black Panther. Then we cut back out to Wade saluting back as we see Captain America fighting Batroc the Leaper in the opening fight scene in Captain America Winter Soldier. And then in the middle, that's the Avengers leaping to the right in their Hydra battle in Age of Ultron. And then on the far right, Cap in close-up when he was facing Bucky in the Winter Soldier final battle on the Project Insight helicarrier. But as this scene continues, there are more familiar shots, including various ones from the Endgame final battle, like Steve summoning lightning with Mjolnir while fighting Thanos, and T'Challa retracting his helmet to tell Hawkeye, "Clint, give it to me," remembering Clint's name from Civil War. When
I don't know how we could ever get like an Avengers feeling again, but I mean, if we got like Spider-Man, you know, Spider-Man, but RDJ like the villain though, like nigga, I might be rooting for the villain. I ain't gonna lie, I might be rooting for the villain.
T'Challa again his helmet to tell Hawkeye, "Clint, give it to me," remembering Clint's name from Civil War, when initially T'Challa said he didn't care what his name was. And as Wade walks away, we see Tony's "I am."
I'm gonna let him cook. I'm gonna let him cook. Like I said, they got the real, they got the hook in my cheek, bro. But you know, I ain't budging right now. I'm just like looking like, I mean, you know.
All this, we are hearing Alan Silvestri's Avengers theme music. As Paradox says that Wade can be a hero among heroes, a new image appears on screen showing Thor cradling Deadpool's body in a similar pose as Thor holding Loki when he thought Loki was dying on Svartalfheim in 2013's Thor: The Dark World. And the music shifts from the Avengers theme to an Asgardian melody. And Paradox says, let's not get ahead of ourselves. That happens in a distant future. And he makes the tech take the footage off the screen.
Now explain that there. What was that?
Here we go. Deadpool's future with Thor is perhaps the biggest unanswered question coming out of this movie. Jessica Clemens is actually breaking this down in a video coming tomorrow. But Deadpool in this movie, from here forward, often wakes up from sleeping gasping, "Thor," or "God of Thunder," which I think could be...
No. He woke up one time also saying slower. He woke up and was like, slower. Like, what?
A clue that Deadpool might be dreaming, aka peering into the life of a multiversal self, according to Doctor Strange, who said that's what all dreams are in the Multiverse of Madness film, and seeing a possible future that might pay off in Secret Wars. Like, I think the grisly fate in the Sacred Timeline that the higher power selected Wade for was God of Stories Loki recognizing that Deadpool has a role to play in Secret Wars or in an Avengers versus X-Men conflict, maybe both him and Wolverine needing to bridge the peace in a future incursion between 1005 and 616. That may end with Deadpool making a sacrifice play in a way that makes Thor grateful because it could allow Thor to see his brother again and make good on Loki's promise to his brother in Infinity War.
I assure you, brother.
Wait, they're gonna kill Deadpool?
The sun will shine on us again.
Deadpool says the power in the Marvel Universe is about to change forever, which is him totally making fun of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, who spent like an entire Comic-Con repeating this.
Because the hierarchy of power in the DC universe is about to change.
Oh my gosh. I forgot that this nigga said that. You did not cook, unfortunately. I saw the movie, though. I saw the movie, and I thought it was all right. Oh my God.
Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, who spent like an entire Comic-Con repeating this.
Oh God.
Because the hierarchy of power in the DC universe
I would scrub this from the internet.
is about to change.
And it only gets funnier and funnier over the years because he was saying that about Black Adam, that it was going to be so game-changing just because it brought back Henry Cavill for a cameo as Superman in the post-credit scene. And he even spoiled that in the marketing. And still the movie underperformed, but Johnson remains in denial about it underperforming. And poor Henry Cavill would soon after be recast anyway. So this never happened. But Deadpool does give Henry Cavill some redemption in this movie.
I was about to say.
Says,
I am Marvel Jesus.
Notice how he uses the same pace as Tony Stark when he made his big move in Avengers Endgame.
Oh my God. We can't get nothing like this again, bro. I'm really like, I'm excited to see what they do though.
Wade headbutts the camera, breaking the glass, literally crack.
I am Dr. Doom. Huzzah! Huzzah!
The fourth wall and says, "Suck it, Fox, I'm going to Disneyland."
I
And
love this
actually,
part. I love that part so much.
Deadpool is now meetable at Disneyland's Avengers Campus. Deadpool gets a new suit from the TVA tailor with
I gotta go.
adamantium katanas. And once again, at the grip
I
of the
gotta
base
go.
of the blade, there's little Deadpool eyes on either side of the
Jameer already knows who Deadpool is. He always goes to the poster. He always goes to this poster and points, and then points at this head here, and I'm like, Deadpool? He'd be like, oh.
sword, so that when he stabs you through the face, a second set of little eyes will be the last thing you would see. The butts of the grips used to read B and Arthur. Deadpool named his swords after his favorite Golden Girl, but now they read DR and I think SB, which could be for Dorothy, Rose, Sophia, and Blanche, all 4 Golden Girls. Also, as before, the muzzle of his gun is etched with the words "Smile, wait for the flash."
Fire.
And in a throwback to the gratuitous suit-up montages of movies like Batman and Robin, we get a lot of close-ups of Deadpool's crotch and his butt as the tailor's white gloved hand just continues to spank and goose him way too much. So Deadpool shows off his new suit to the TVA.
You look very nice.
Nice? Your buddy here is ready to throw it all away from me. Calling your wife? HR. Does your wife work in HR?
This TVA agent is played by James.
Damn, they had all that shit in the trailers. Oh my God, I'm so glad that's why you can't watch all the trailers, bro.
Dryden, and he was the one with the "I love me" heart mug. But Paradox explains that Wade will not be able to take any of his friends with him, showing him his dying timeline using a similar interface that we saw in the Loki series. We see the line decaying. Paradox says that this happens when a universe loses its anchor being, saying, quote, "An anchor being is an entity of such vital importance that when they die, their whole world slowly withers out of existence." This concept of an anchor being comes from Jonathan Hickman's Time Runs Out storyline.
Guys, you know who our anchor being is on this planet? Guys, who do you think the anchor being is on this planet? You guys already got it. Someone said Duke. No, guys. It's Tom Cruise. LeBron James is probably a close second. It's Tom Cruise, okay? It's Tom Cruise. Stable Ronaldo.
Line, which leads to the 2015 Secret Wars crossover event. Owen Reese, aka Molecule Man, we learn was installed in every universe by the Beyonders as an experimental ticking time bomb to trigger the death of that universe. But Dr. Doom ends up interfering with that plan. But this idea of an anchor being is more of an organic, natural phenomenon. Like just every universe that spawns into existence just has one all-important anchor being at some point in its history. And that thousands of years after that anchor dies, that universe just starts to spaghettify.
Oh, so we got time then.
One wonders what the anchor
Because I was about to say, like, damn, that's kind of crazy. Like, how? That's kind of bullshit.
of the MCU was.
100% JoJo Siwa. Hell no. Please no.
Could it have been Tony Stark or Steve Rogers? Our mother, Wanda Maximoff? Practically, Tony Stark probably makes the most sense if Marvel Studios wants to keep building on this idea as they seek to bring back Robert Downey Jr. in Secret Wars. Paradox says that the anchor of 10005, Deadpool's universe, and the universe of the Fox X-Men was James Howlett, Logan, Wolverine. And he pulls up Logan's death from the end of the 2017 Logan film, and all the TVA texts watch it as if it's their favorite movie.
Drooling.
In fact, when Logan says his dying words of, "So this is what it feels like," Paradox mouths along, probably longing for his own death. Paradox says that he was tasked with just overseeing the eventual death
It
of
was Michael Jackson. Was it Michael Jackson or Tupac?
Universe 1005, but that he doesn't want to wait for it to happen naturally. He says, "We used to just prune these things. Simple, elegant, efficient. I'm told the TVA doesn't like to do that anymore. Well, I do. And no matter what my superiors say, the multiverse does not need a babysitter. We need a
Wait, it was probably MLK. Did MJ have more aura than Martin Luther King?
mercy killer." And during this line, there is an insert close-up of Matthew McFadden.
Wait, oh my God, no. It's Taylor Swift. Wait, debate's over. I think it's actually Taylor Swift. It might actually be Taylor Swift.
and on what looks like a composited background, making me think that they might have added this extra
I'm locking that one in. I think it might actually be Taylor Swift.
line about the TVA's new policy late into production after Loki Season 2 came out, because both Loki Season 2 and Deadpool and Wolverine script were really just being written at the same time. But the babysitter that Paradox is referring to would be B-15, but she is carrying out the will of God of Stories, Loki. So we don't know if Paradox knows that Loki has taken over the organization, or if he's just seeing the TVA from the perspective of middle management, and he just got a memo that said his job changed. But Paradox's resistance tells us how dangerous the TVA really is. It has internal divisions and factions that resist change and covertly are able to use parts of it for their own agendas. Paradox unveils his mercy-killing machine, the Time Ripper, saying once completed it will allow me to destroy the space-time matrix of your universe. Later, when we see the Time Ripper in action, its insides make it look like it's composed, or at least powered by, dozens of reset charge canisters from the Loki series. And remember, each one of those could prune a single branch of a timeline before that branch crossed the threshold at least. So it makes sense that it would take dozens of these, powered by columns of matter and antimatter underneath, to completely spaghettify an entire trunk of a reality. Deadpool headbutts Paradox and leaps to grab his temp pad, planning to find a Wolverine who could fill that anchor spot.
This shit was funny.
He sits on the face of that TVA tech, but instead he just opens a time door and takes the guy's mug. But there's something I gotta talk about here. Editors are really the hidden superstars of every YouTube channel. But particularly on new Rockstars, we would not be able to do anything without our editors.
A W mother effing ad, okay? W ad. I'm here for the Deadpool breakdown and to glaze the movie.
Lead Hunter says that he's the worst thing to come out of Canada, which is funny because they are right by the Canadian border here, and Deadpool uses that to break his rule not to use weapons in this awesome bounce shot to kill him.
Oh my God,
Deadpool now goes on a montage set to Huey Lewis in the News' The Power of Love, searching the multiverse for a new living Wolverine. This is a song that played in Back to the Future over shots of Marty entering the Hill Valley town square, so it's kind of a good time travel montage song. Deadpool arrives in this bar with axe throwing, and he meets a Wolverine of comic accurate height, 5'3". Hugh Jackman has been shrunken with VFX. Wolverine was given this height in the comics to better reflect a stocky Wolverine-like statue, as in Wolverine the animal, and it's always been an issue since they cast the towering 6'2" Hugh Jackman to play the part. Next, we see Deadpool in this fiery alley with grungy post-apocalyptic graffiti. The Wolverine here is the Age of Apocalypse Wolverine, who uses the alias Weapon X. This is from Earth 295, when Apocalypse has taken over North America and decimated the rest of the planet. Jackman here has the same sleeveless black leather suit with the red stripe.
Yo, comics? Like, they just got the cheat code. They can literally just do what the fuck ever, bro. And it's just like infinite. Infinite, bro.
The tangled hair, and this metal stump on one arm, though we don't see it here, is capable of releasing 3 claws as well. Next, Deadpool finds in a casino Patch. This is Wolverine's alter ego from the 80s who gambles and wears an eye patch, dresses like James Bond. This is an alias used by Wolverine since that time, but recently in 2022 there was a solo run written by Larry Hama that follows Wolverine on a recon mission to Madripoor at the Princess Bar. Deadpool walks up to a homesteader Wolverine who's old and grizzled, kind of like Clint Eastwood. Now, I don't think this is Old Man Logan, since Old Man Logan has bushier mutton chops, and it's in like a post-apocalyptic future. This looks like it's in the olden days, and he blows Deadpool away with a shotgun. Then Deadpool lands in this horrifying field of red skulls to find Wolverine being crucified on a giant yellow X. This is from Chris Claremont's Uncanny X-Men number 251, when Wolverine is being tortured by the Reavers, which was actually the name of the mercenaries from the Logan film, but those were different than how they are in these comics. This giant yellow X will also return as a visual when we arrive in the Void later. Next, Deadpool finds a classic John Byrne brown and tan suit on a Wolverine, which was the original rendering of how Wolverine looked in the Marvel Comics. And Deadpool asks, didn't you fight a Hulk in this outfit? And then Wolverine snicks his claws, and Hulk roars in the reflection of the adamantium. This is a recreation of the cover of Todd McFarlane's The Incredible Hulk number 340. Hulk, and it looks like the Mark Ruffalo version and not the Edward Norton version, punches Deadpool into the roots of a tree. And lastly, the muscular total package Wolverine smoking a cigar over a motorcycle is revealed to be Henry Cavill. Deadpool says the cavalry has arrived, and he says, we will treat you so much better than those fucks down the street. Of course, referring to the fan support of Henry Cavill over the way Warner Brothers brought to an end the Zack Snyder era of the DC films, specifically with Henry Cavill, who turned down other projects to come back and play Superman just for the studio to be like, nah, you know what, we're gonna reboot the entire DC slate. To be clear, I don't blame James Gunn for that. I don't blame Zack Snyder for that. I just blame the studio for taking so damn long to make up their minds on what they were gonna do with this IP. But I do think, or at least I hope, that Henry Cavill made quite a bit of money from just the studio having to renew his contract. Finally, Deadpool arrives to this Canadian bar where he finds a very, very drunk Wolverine. The shot of Wolverine from behind evokes the shot of Wolverine from the trailer for Insomniac's PS5 game. The bartender is played by
that
Greg
I cannot
Hemphill,
wait for
Scottish
still.
comedian from shows like Still Game. He tries to get Wolverine to leave because, as we'll learn later, this Wolverine turned humanity against the X-Men. After his X-Men got killed, he just continued to wage war on humanity, both the bad humans and the good humans, and really just turned into the biggest asshole of his universe. There are Calgary Flames logos and banners all over this bar, but standing in the background is a cameo by Ollie Palmer, striker for Wrexham AFC. On the tip jar is a sign. I love this. Just put the tip in, see how it feels. This Wolverine tries to snick his claws, but they only come out an inch or so, which is a callback to the opening fight of the 2017 Logan film, where a similarly drunk Logan, who worked as a chauffeur, like Happy Hogan, tried to fight carjackers, but the claws only came halfway out. This is even worse, which shows he's even drunker. Wolverine chugs an entire handle of whiskey, and Deadpool quips that audiences are accustomed to long run times, but Deadpool and Wolverine at 2 hours and 8 minutes is on the shorter side of MCU movies, at least these big tentpole ones. Deadpool sees that this Wolverine wears a blue and yellow suit under his clothes, which he sees as a good sign, and he actually turns to the camera and says, "That only took 20 years," which is a reference to the first X-Men movies when Bryan Singer and Fox refused to put the X-Men in comic accurate colors and even made fun of those looks.
You actually go outside in these things? What would you prefer? Yellow spandex?
But Kevin Feige recently revealed at a press conference that the success of The Matrix in 1999 was part of the reason why, saying there were studio execs in charge who knew that The Matrix had been a big hit and The Matrix had black leather, so let's put them in black leather. A few months ago, episode 9 of X-Men 97
be your own person, dude.
Claimed that Logan Cyclops moment from the 2000 film.
Am I going to war or a circus?
What'd you expect? Black leather?
Deadpool drags Wolverine back into the TVA, saying, "On your left, baby girl," a reference to the "on your left" exchanges between Steve Rogers and Sam Wilson, notably when Sam Wilson reappeared through a portal in Endgame. Deadpool says, "This one does musicals," referring to Hugh Jackman's background as a musical stage actor. Paradox says that you can't swap in any other Wolverine as an anchor, and that this Wolverine was the worst of them all. Wolverine awakens and Deadpool says, "Hey, welcome to the MCU, by the way. You're joining at a bit of a low point." Indeed, after Quantumania, Secret Invasion.
I was weak, bro. I was like, yo, thank you, bro. Thank you for saying it, man. Thank you for saying it, because apparently I'm a hater when I say it.
In the Marvels, the MCU had a pretty mixed 2023, but I think we should recognize a low point for the MCU is probably a high watermark for most other Hollywood franchises. Deadpool.
I mean, it's like superhero movies, though. Like, they're superheroes, man.
Threatens to use his black belt in Karen to snitch on Paradox and his team for going off the book, and Paradox prunes them both to the Void. Now again, the Void in the Loki series is where the TVA prunes redundant people and things from erased timelines. Throughout this part of the movie, though, you can see stuff continuing to drop into the Void from rifts
what'd you
in the
find?
sky, as
What'd you
things
find?
did in Loki season 1, episode 5. And while that seems to contradict the TVA's new mission of no longer pruning timelines, consider A, we don't see people being pruned now, and B, the universes that lose
No one has superhero fatigue. How you gonna speak for everybody, bro?
their anchors still naturally end up in the Void regardless of what the TVA does. Now there is a large 20th Century Fox logo, which itself is a huge meta leap because it's saying something from outside the reality of any of these movies. A studio title bumper is prunable to the Void, but you know, it's not like the 20th Century Fox logo exists in our reality. Like you can't drive around Century City in LA and be like, oh, there it is. No, it only just exists whenever you watch a movie or a TV show. It's technically kind of like on the border of the media itself, kind of like the Disney Plus loading screen in She-Hulk. But more importantly, symbolically, this represents the movie's theme, that it's not just these characters with their own realities getting erased, it's really their cinematic existence within the minds of viewers that ends up fading from memory with these studio acquisitions. Like sometimes with these streaming wars, when one studio gobbles up another, you can't even find this IP on any streaming platform anywhere, and hopefully you have physical media of it, which, just a reminder, always buy physical media. You never know what's gonna happen. But while Universe 1005 in this movie is still intact at this point in the movie, seeing the Fox logo here might suggest that the erosion has begun, that the studio title bumper at the beginning of any of these movies has already gotten erased. But I think my favorite detail is the studio logo is buried in a way that leaves the X in Fox exposed, which is a very deep cut nod to the way the Fox logo would fade to black before several X-Men movies, but leave the X glowing for a few extra frames.
Oh, that's
because,
fire.
you know, X-Men, particularly in this film, the unburied X suggests that all other Fox Marvel titles have been pruned, you know, Daredevil, the Fantastic Four, but that the X-Men, through Wolverine and Deadpool, are still hanging on by a thread for now. Deadpool wakes up on the dusty ground. To the left is a comic book, Jonathan Hickman's Secret Wars #5 from 2015, which shows on the cover God Emperor Doom forming out of the Beyonders and Owen Reese. This is the issue that reveals how Dr. Doom powered up into God Emperor by using the Beyonders' universe death triggers, the Molecule Men, as conduits to absorb the Beyonders' power. And it's that power that Doom used to create Battleworld after the incursion between universes 616 and 1610. And that may end up being what happens in Secret Wars. They may even take the Void and build out Battleworld from that. And on top of this comic book is a bottle of Pingo Doce, the juice bottle from the Brazilian plant where Edward Norton...
Yo, did he must have broke this down already. He must have broke this down already because he don't seem like that excited how he would usually get excited. Holy shit, what the... Hello?
Banner worked in the 2008 Incredible Hulk film. Remember, he bled onto the assembly line, getting a bunch of Pingo Doce drinkers sick, including Stan Lee. We also see Toronto's CN Tower, another Canada reference for Ryan Reynolds. A SHIELD helicarrier. This
from the trailer. Okay, I was about to say, yo, that's kind of fucking huge.
actually might have even been the one that Wade fought Francis on in the 2016 Deadpool movie. A Chitauri Leviathan from the Battle of New York in the 2012 Avengers film. A metal boat that our colleague Evan Yee thinks could be one of the boats lifted from the ocean floor by Apocalypse in X-Men Apocalypse, and then a multi-mast wooden ship that might be the sunken Santa Maria that we saw in The Void and Loki Season 1 Episode 5, then a circus tent, and then in the further distance and other shots when the caravan rolls up, the Golden Gate Bridge, which was moved by Magneto in X-Men The Last Stand. There's also an overturned car that I was trying to figure out, and a winged helmet that looks like it belonged to a variant of Thor. And just a reminder that elsewhere in The Void is Thor's frog variant, Throg, and a Thanos copter. A lot of weird stuff in The Void, guys. Now, the opening dongs of AC/DC's Hell's Bells ring out as Deadpool and Wolverine face each other down. We get a close-up of Wolverine extending his claws, and I love how his gloves have these little adamantium sheaths on the knuckles, meaning the suit was designed for Logan by Beast or Charles or Scott, or maybe even Forge, so that it would have adamantium sheaths just to keep his gloves on straight without his snickting claws messing anything up. Deadpool kickflips his ammo into his guns that he catches in midair, and Wolverine crawls on all fours. It looks so good. This fight is brutal. At one point,
when he crawled, bro, when he crawled on all floors, or all fours on the floor, dude, I'm telling you, the theater was like, yo, yes! Yes!
Messing anything up. Deadpool kickflips his ammo into his guns that he catches in midair, and Wolverine crawls on all fours. It looks so good. This fight is brutal. At one point, Wolverine does this combination of a swipe, undercut, swipe, undercut, swipe, and Deadpool dodges them all, which is the same fight choreography that Flash Thompson and Joe Manganiello did with Peter Parker, Tobey Maguire, in Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 2002. A voice calls out to them from a masked figure atop a lookout point, and it is the voice of Chris Evans. And Deadpool gets so excited. Chris Evans points to an approaching caravan led by the Fantastic Car of the
Chat, I'm telling you, I had no idea. Up until he said, he's gonna say the thing. And I was like, why would he say that though? And then I was like, wait, hold on. This is not who I think it is.
Four, a version of which we saw in the 2007 Rise of the Silver Surfer movie, but this is a more retro version. There's a V16 coupe, the car driven by Red Skull in the first Captain America movie in 2011, but this one is patterned with Tony Stark's Ford Roadster flame pattern with an Iron Man hood ornament instead of the Hydra logo that was there in that Mercedes-Benz hood ornament spot. Then the cupcake truck from the Moon Knight series, the one that Stephen Grant had to drive through the Alps. And
didn't watch that shit.
And then there's this larger tank pulled by
is Dr. Monte here, or is he working security?
Several motorcycles, including a Hydra motorcycle from the first Cap film,
Monte?
and I think the motorcycle Steve Rogers drove in that film with a shotgun holster on the side.
I think we're good.
Has a magnet operated by the Canadarm.
He's been begging me to watch that show.
That's the attachment that originally paired with the NASA Columbia shuttle, and they fly a flag that's an Avengers logo with an Anarchy A spray painted over it. Among this crew is Tyler Mane returning as Sabretooth from the 2000 X-Men film, and Darth Maul actor Ray Park returning as Toad from the same film. Sabretooth, remember, was hit by a redirected optic blast from Cyclops, directed by Jean Grey, and Toad was struck by lightning by Storm, and one of the weirdest lines in all of comic book movie history.
Do you know what happens to a toad when it's struck by lightning? The same thing that happens to everything else.
And both Toad and Sabretooth ended up in the
Jesus Christ, bruh.
Water. Aaron Stanford returns as Pyro, last seen in X2 and X-Men The Last Stand, who can manipulate fire but not to create it himself. He was
that literally, like that, yo, you know what happens to a horse when you shoot it? The same thing that happens to anybody else. Yeah, like that's how a gun works. Yeah, that's how thunder works,
Hi.
I guess.
It was so nice meeting you and Danielle at DreamCon this year.
Thank you.
You guys are amazing and I enjoy y'all's streams so much. I hope Danielle likes her bracelet and I hope it fits. Crying face. Crying face.
I appreciate you, like, bro. When I tell y'all I appreciate y'all, like, more and more every time I, like, actually, like, see y'all in person, it really means a lot to both of us, me and Danielle. So it's like, I feel like next year, me and Danielle got to do, you know, we got to do a meet and greet at DreamCon. So I'm going to hit up John and we'll get that happening because I feel like we got to get more personal, bro. We got to talk more on a personal level, man.
Implied to have been vaporized by Jean Grey / Phoenix in X-Men The Last Stand on Alcatraz, but in the Days of Future Past Rogue Cut, we see Pyro's Zippo lighter on a memorial. So it was implied that he actually survived those events and actually joined the X-Men in the future, fighting the Sentinels, but now he wears a faded red and yellow suit similar to his comics look. Chris Evans drops and sticks a superhero landing, remember which Deadpool coined in the 2016 Deadpool movie, but he lowers his hood, revealing a slightly de-aged face, and the misdirect here is just so perfect. Chris Evans' clothes under his rags show a hint of blue, but his arms are covered and his chest, so you don't see where any red would be or any logo. And the music starts to ramp up into something that sounds like Alan Silvestri's Captain America theme or the Avengers theme, but it never quite gets there. And Deadpool thinks he's gonna say, "Avengers, assemble!" But Evans cuts him off and shouts, "Flame on!" Yes, it's not Steve Rogers, it's Chris Evans' original Marvel role,
So
Johnny
crazy.
Storm, the Human Torch.
Crazy,
the blue suit is the Fantastic
bruh.
Four suit from the 2005
Crazy.
and 2007 films. We actually broke those movies down here and here just in case this happened. Johnny flies over them as his flames cover his whole body. He looks as though he might start to try to do a 4 like he did in the final shot of the 2005 film, but Pyro, who only needs a flame source to manipulate fire, sucks out Johnny's flames and sends him crashing to the ground, banging off the scaffolding like a Plinko puck. Youch. You know, this is kind of a similar move that Marvel pulled by introducing John Krasinski, Reed Richards, Anson Mount Blackbolt, and Haley Atwell, Captain Carter, just to do this to them moments later. Sabretooth steps forward to fight Wolverine, but it's over quickly. Sabretooth is beheaded. Deadpool raises his head and says, "Behold your queen, Furiosa!" Still thinking the Void is like Mad Max IP infringement. They snare them with a magnet and trap them in cages to take them to see Cassandra. Now, as they head there, on the
He says, "She's the beast and only I can tame her."
hillside are a few Narvas, aka Void Turkeys, flightless birds.
I love this movie.
Don't
Okay, yeah, what
can
is
you
this?
change the voice of this fucking donation,
What is
man?
this?
Every time you say the word nigger with an I after it, it goes full on Uncle Ruckus knuckle dragging coonery. Look, nigger, I'll see my fucking point.
I don't know why it does that, bruh.
Now, as they head there, on the hillside are a few Narvas, aka Void Turkeys, the flightless birds with metallic indigo plumage and purple floating ball heads, which we saw in Loki season 1, episode 5, which I believe was named after.
What should I change it to? I feel like changing it now would be weird. What should I, like, what do I change it to, bruh?
After the daughter of one of the art directors or production designers. Then the caravan now passes the Great Pyramids of Giza, which we also saw in the Void of the TVA, along with the Sphinx that still had its nose with the face of Kang. In the Fantastic Four comics, Pharaoh Rama Tut, before he was known to be a Kang variant, used the Sphinx as his time shuttle. There is a second cage that's being dragged by this caravan.
I forget that you can actually make it other people's voices, but I feel like it's probably like complicated to do. But I know y'all tech people. It's actually not that hard, dude.
That looks like it's holding a TVA
You're
hunter.
just
Now in trailer
old.
footage, there is a cuffed TVA agent who gets snatched up by Eliath, and I'm pretty sure based on BTS footage.
Lol nigger, change it to anything or I'll start spamming nigger I'll all over this stream.
Dude, chill, bruh.
Shown in Welcome to Wrexham that character would have been Rob McElhenney's cameo as a TVA agent, but it seems that they cut this from the movie, which is a pretty hilarious troll by Ryan Reynolds. Johnny agent, but it seems that they cut this from the movie.
Nigger, I BTW, change it to an American woman.
I traveled 6,000 miles to shoot my cameo. I hope you enjoy it because the theater I was watching in had mistakenly cut it out. Since I know Ryan wouldn't do that, I look forward to catching the movie in my... No, that's funny.
Which is a pretty hilarious troll by Ryan Reynolds. Johnny describes the Void to them, saying Reed called it a metaphysical junkyard where anything useless goes before it gets annihilated forever. This tells us that Yoan Griffith's Reed Richards also got sent to this Void too, but did not make it. Johnny mentioned Eliath, and Deadpool says, "Ooh, Eliath is in this thing from Loki season 1, episode 5? Hey, come on, that's my job, Deadpool." They drive past what looks like the Brooklyn Bridge as well, and then they arrive to Cassandra's compound, contained within the core.
I wish I could watch, like, Eric's reaction to the movie for like initial reaction to all the like the movie, knowing that he knows like so much shit already.
Corpse of Giant Man Scott Lang.
All right, finally aged.
The skeletal remains of Giant Man was a bleak visual from the Old Man Logan comics, but in that instance it was Hank Pym. Now it's Scott Lang. It is possible that this Giant Scott was that redundant Giant Scott in the background of the Battle of...
What you think about Doom, bro? I'm excited. I'm happy. I'm happy about the Doom situation. I know people are saying it doesn't make sense. I don't like it. Well, actually, the comics say. I don't care about what the comics say, and I don't care about it not making sense in the Marvel universe. It's RDJ, bruh.
Oh no.
He's back.
I'm sorry for what I've started.
He's back.
I now see that I have empowered the weirdos in chat to spam nonsense.
I'm locked in.
For that I humbly apologize.
I'm locked in and I'm excited for what they do, especially with this movie being so damn good, bro.
Earth and Avengers.
And why is Thor crying?
Endgame, when we saw him shoving a Leviathan through a portal at the same time that Scott was actually normal size with Hope in the Ant Van. We should also remember that in the Void in Loki season 1 episode 5, there was a giant helmet of Yellow Jacket. So I don't know, this could also be a Giant Scott from a fight with a giant Darren. The hands of Giant Scott open, and inside several other cameos from past Marvel movies form Cassandra's gang, Lady Deathstrike from...
Monte won't watch The Boys until you watch Moon Knight. Well, he's actually missing something good though. That's on him.
X2, she was another one of Colonel Stryker's experiments who Wolverine fought. Jason Fleming returns as a teleporter Azazel from X-Men First Class. He was in the Hellfire Club with Sebastian Shaw, played by Kevin Bacon. Juggernaut returns from X-Men The Last Stand, played by a new actor replacing Vinnie Jones. The tattooed Callisto, a member of the mutant group the Omegas that was allied with Magneto. Now this bald guy with a goatee in the black leather trench coat who we saw in the trailers is actually a variant of Bullseye. His goatee and clothes are exactly like Colin Farrell's in the 2003 Daredevil film, and he has a subtle crosshair scar on his forehead, and during the battle you see him flinging knives. There's also the Punisher villain, the Russian, who is played by Kevin Nash in the 2004 Punisher film, but has also been recast here. There's also a version of Psylocke in this gang, who is played by Olivia Munn in X-Men Apocalypse. We later see her with her whip made from psionic energy. The skull opens and a bald figure rolls up in a wheelchair, and Deadpool thinks it's Charles, but instead it is Cassandra Nova, played by Emma Corrin, who played young Diana Spencer in seasons 3 and 4 in The Crown. So Cassandra Nova was introduced in Grant Morrison's 2001 E is for Extinction X-Men comics as what's called a Mumu Dry, a cosmic shadow spirit.
It was literally said it wasn't Tony Stark. That person is Victor Von Doom. Does he look exactly like Tony Stark? Yes, but are they the same person? Fuck no. Tony Stark was the universe's greatest hero. Victor Doom is the universe's greatest tyrant. It's simple.
Dude, it's not about it being... We all know it's not Tony Stark. Dude, it's the same guy that played a character, like a character. You're yapping, okay? You're yapping. You're literally a yapper, dude.
Charles Xavier, who ended up taking physical
You're literally
form
a yapper,
Charles's
man.
abilities and joined him in the womb battle.
Bro, seen the movie already. You're literally yapping, man. Guys, why are you guys getting confused? It's literally not Tony Stark. He's playing Victor whatever the hell, man. Yeah, we know. Do you see his face, though?
Him. That's why she says that they're twins. But she survived this battle and got revenge on the X-Men by unleashing a wild sentinel to attack Genosha and kill 16 million mutants. We actually saw a version of this attack in X-Men 97, but it was orchestrated by Bastion. Cassandra later says the TVA sent her to the Void before she could walk, so they must have pruned her there as a baby, maybe even to avert a multiversal Genosha massacre. Deadpool calls her entrance ableist, and yes, it is similar to Willy Wonka pretending to need a cane, but then springing into that performative role. Cassandra says that they've been trying to catch that Firefly of Johnny Storm for years, and Deadpool quotes word for word the string of insults that he says Johnny says about her when he called her a megalomaniacal, egotistical, psychotic asshole, a finger-licking, dead inside pixie slab of third-rate dime store nut milk, and she can lick my goddamn cinema ring, cling, and kick rocks all the way to bald hell. And I like how Johnny stammers here because we find out in the post-credit scene that he did say all of that, word for word, and Cassandra Nova rips the flesh from his bones, and he collapses in a bloody heap of bone and tissue. Yuck. Deadpool quips, not my favorite Chris. A nod to the 3 white Chris's in the MCU, and of the 3, obviously Chris Hemsworth, Thor, would be his favorite. Deadpool also defends that Chris Evans was totally draining the budget of this movie, as he probably would have been like the biggest cameo other than Henry Cavill. Wade says that killing Wolverine will sink the second act of The Music Man, referencing Hugh Jackman's recent role in the revival of The Music Man. Cassandra says that while Charles could have made people's minds with a flash, she has to get her hands dirty, and she shoves her extra long fingernails
this was
inside of
so
Deadpool.
disgusting.
head, and Wade returns to the day he and Vanessa broke up, and Cassandra alters the memory to make Vanessa say, "You'll never fucking matter." And in doing so, you could argue she incepts this concept in Wade's mind. It's something hard for him to shake for the rest of the film. Cassandra leaves to feed Deadpool and Wolverine to Eliath, but they grab the jet thruster leg, what looks like the Ironmonger suit from the first Iron Man film that Obadiah Stane was inside of. That leg actually looked like it was icy and frozen over. So this could have been from when Tony Stark led Obadiah Stane high up into the atmosphere and triggered that icing problem. But here, maybe Obadiah just kept floating and floating into space and kept icing over. And they use it to fly away from the compound. Deadpool and Wolverine find a diner, and they use this time to get to know each other.
What made you finally wear an honest-to-God costume? Mine's red so they can't see me bleed, but I could see how yellow would be useful too.
Deadpool tells Logan that he wanted to be an Avenger, and Wolverine responds, the Avengers, which could tell us that in his universe, there must have been an Avengers alongside the X-Men. Dogpool runs up to them. Dogpool, aka Mary Poppins, is played by Peggy, a crossbreed between a pug and a Chinese crested dog, also known as a Puggies, who won Britain's Ugliest Dog in 2023.
That's crazy.
Following her is Nicepool, played by a handsomer, younger
They did that?
Ryan Reynolds with no scarring and a man bun, and definitely more of a Canadian accent based on the way he says sorry. Nicepool says, wait till you meet Ladypool. She just had a baby. And
anyone else notice that he had a big bulge too? It was significantly bigger than the than our Deadpool.
You can't even notice, which is another reference to Reynolds' wife, Blake Lively, who just gave birth to another baby in February 2023. Deadpool introduces Logan, saying he's usually shirtless, but he let himself go since the divorce, which might be the most brutal line of the movie because Hugh Jackman.
People were like, oh, in the theater. I was like, oh shit. I thought, like, you know, I didn't even know he was going through a divorce. I thought it was like a joke in the movie joke. Like,
Jackman was married to Deborah Lee Furness from 1996 to September 2023. It just happened. Like, they almost made it from since before Hugh Jackman was famous. So you really thought they were going to go the distance. And this would have happened while Hugh Jackman was shooting this movie. So yikes. Nicepool lets them borrow his Honda Odyssey that he names Betsy with a coexist bumper sticker. And in this cornfield region, they walked past a ship called the Conquistador, which might be a boat from the 2006 X-Men Volume 2 number 189 that was used by the Children of the Vault when the X-Men were trying to stop the Hecatomb, a Shi'ar weapon of mass destruction. Now they listen to I'm With You by Avril Lavigne, a fellow Canadian, as they drive past some crashed Q ships that were used.
Avril Lavigne's, she's Canadian?
By Avril Lavigne, a fellow Canadian, as they drive past some crashed
I did not know that.
Were used by Thanos' Black Order in Avengers Infinity War. Deadpool makes fun of Wolverine's yellow and blue suit, asking if his X-Men made him wear it, saying friends don't let friends leave the house looking like they fight crime for the Los Angeles Rams, who of course share these yellow and blue colors. Deadpool touches a nerve though, and he starts thwipping like Spider-Man, and Wolverine pulls over when he realizes Deadpool can't for sure.
This shit. This shit had me so dead, bro.
Fix his world, and Wade defends that he made an educated wish, a term that I'm going to start using next time I theorize that Taylor Swift is going to show up in a movie. Deadpool shows Wolverine his Polaroid of the 9 most important people in his life, a token that he uses similar to Marty McFly's family photo in Back to the Future. I think this might stir in Wolverine the 9 most important people in his life, as there probably would have been 9 or so X-Men who were the most important to him. Jean, Charles, Scott, Rogue, Beast, Storm, Gambit, and let's say Morph, with Wolverine himself being...
Yeah, I'm going to use educated wish, and I'm gonna use come again, this time in my ears.
The 9. I think there might be something to that number 9 because in the 2017 Logan film there were reported 7 X-Men who died in the Westchester incident, and that might have been in addition to Logan and Charles. Logan rips Wade a new one, saying he couldn't even keep a relationship alive with a stripper and that he's gonna die alone. And Logan also mentions here that he's been alive for over 200 years, which is interesting because Logan was born in 1832, which would mean that Deadpool might have found this Wolverine in that bar in the year 2032 of that timeline. I think they just gave him some extra room beyond the present day so they could imply that the X-Men of that universe died of some advanced sentinel weaponry controlled by the Friends of Humanity. They fight again. Logan slams Deadpool's head in the radio, similar to Wade in The Mercenary slamming heads on the radio in the 2016 movie and changing the stations that way. But briefly, we hear the opening vocals of This Is the Greatest Show from Hugh Jackman's movie The Greatest Showman. But the radio stays on You're the One That I Want from Grease. Sean Levy said in interviews that he wanted each Wolverine versus Deadpool fight to evolve throughout the movie. So while the first fight was in the wide outdoors, this one is in close quarters in the Honda Odyssey. We stay on that coexist bumper, getting bloodier and bloodier as they fight long into the night until Wolverine and Deadpool wrapped up in seatbelts and they're both out of it. But a mysterious figure drives them to this home. And inside this home, we see on the ceiling the statue of the Scarlet Witch that we saw in the Darkhold Temple.
Oh, that's what that was.
In Multiverse of Madness, meaning that at some point there was a Wanda down here, I think. like, or maybe even that's where she got banished when we saw that glow of red and she could still be alive. She could still come back. I know she can. There's a chess set that maybe belonged to a Charles Xavier at some point before he died. And then this bed is a giant jawbone of the bed used by Hulk on Sakaar in Thor Ragnarok. And one of the occupants enter Elektra Nachios with Jennifer Garner wielding the size once again, returning to the 2003 Daredevil and 2005 spinoff Elektra next. And I can't believe they got him in the—
Wait, there was a spinoff of that shit? I didn't know that. Turn the light on. Did not see Elektra.
In this movie, Blade, Wesley freaking Snipes, the half vampire hunter returning after the
was insane.
Blade trilogy from 1998 to 2004. Actually, that first Blade in 98 was the first truly successful Marvel film. And without it, studios likely would not have committed to proper budgets for X-Men, Spider-Man, and the MCU thereafter. The third movie of that trilogy, Blade Trinity, is also where Ryan Reynolds got his start in Marvel films as Hannibal King, and he and Wesley Snipes reportedly did not enjoy working together. There's actually a reference to that here, where Deadpool says, "I thought you were retired," and Blade says an R word that's offensive, especially to audiences since 2004.
Retarded.
"I don't like you," and Deadpool says, "Never did." I like that they can at least bury the hatchet for this movie. We see a glowing playing card of Gambit Remy LeBeau, played by Channing Tatum.
Okay, this was fucking hilarious. This, like, what the hell is going on here? Yo, Eric, explain this to me, please, bro. Is my light gonna turn? Oh, there we go. Bet. I turned on my other light. There we go. Oh, that's better. That's better. That light's hitting better.
So the Louisiana-born mutant Gambit was played by Taylor Kitsch in X-Men Origins, and years later there was a Gambit solo movie in the works with Channing Tatum attached to play the role, but it never made it out of development hell. So the costume for Gambit here is—
I figured from like the jokes they were saying that's what was going on.
The live-action version of the purple suit and headband closer to the comics or the X-Men animated series in the 90s, or like Marvel versus—
I feel like he made him look cool though, but it's just the voice, like. Like, he made him look cool, but a whole movie full of that, like just throwing cards, I don't know if, you know, I don't know about that.
Capcom. Deadpool says that he looks like a superhero version of Hawkeye, which is so mean to Clint. Now they say there's a fourth member of the group, and Deadpool asks if it's Magneto, but they revealed Magneto is dead. And Deadpool says, now they get cheap? It's like Disney shoved Pinocchio's face in my ass and started lying. Interesting that he says this, because in the days before the release, Marvel's executive producer attached to this project, Wendy Jacobson, revealed that they intentionally released some false rumors to throw fans off. And a couple weeks before the release, some outlets and scoopers reported that Patrick Stewart was going to appear in this movie. Their fourth member, though, is X-23 Laura Daphne Keene, who also lied while on a press tour for The Acolyte, saying that she would not be in this movie. Remy says that every past Resistance member who went up against Cassandra died, including the Punisher, Quicksilver, and Daredevil. And Deadpool says, "Oh, Daredevil, I'm so sorry." And Elektra just says coldly, "It's fine."
Yeah, I had to lie to Joe because Joe said he got spoiled. He was like, "Yo, I got spoiled. They said Blade was in the movie." I was like, "What? Blade is not in the movie." He was like, "Oh, that's what they were saying." I was like, "Yeah, I don't know." They were literally just yapping, bro. I was like, they were literally just yapping. He's not in this movie. I don't even think that dude acts anymore or whatever. I was making up shit. I was like, yeah, I don't even think, I'm pretty sure he said he retired. I don't think this dude even acts anymore.
Which is another reference to these actors' real life.
And then we saw the movie. Blade comes out and Joe turns to me. He's like, yo.
Life relationships and divorces, because Jennifer Garner and Ben Affleck met on the set of the 2003 Daredevil, and after Ben Affleck broke it off with Jennifer Lopez, he and Jennifer Garner were married from 2005 onward, but then ran into relationship trouble 10 years later in 2015 and finalized a divorce in 2018. And then after that, Ben Affleck got back together with J-Lo, marrying her in 2022. But you can find plenty of videos online where he looks completely miserable. Quicksilver presumably would have been Evan Peters, since Aaron Taylor Johnson's Quicksilver died in Avengers Age of Ultron, whereas Evan Peters' version just kind of petered out in Dark Phoenix. Since Magneto is dead and Cassandra melted his helmet, they plan to use Juggernaut's dome, which Juggernaut, Kane Marco, stepbrother to Charles Xavier in the comics, would wear to keep Charles out of his mind. So presumably it would block Cassandra's psionic energy as well. Wolverine confesses to Laura that his X-Men begged him to wear that suit, but one day when he was away from their mansion drinking, a group of humans arrived to go mutant hunting. And he never specified what that group was. It could have been the Friends of Humanity, the FOH, with like power dampening weapons and maybe Sentinel backup from OZT, Bastion, Operation Zero Tolerance. But Wolverine continues to wear this suit, he says, to remember his family. And he tells Laura,
"Whoever you think I am, you got the wrong guy."
You were always the wrong guy.
Period.
Till you weren't.
Bar.
So on their way back to the compound, they
Bar,
pass the
that's the
golden palace
bar.
of Asgard pruned there. There's also what looks like a crashed Guardians of the Galaxy ship, the Milano. They talk about the Punisher, and Deadpool asks which Punisher. There have been like 5 of them. There have actually been 4 big ones. There's Dolph Lundgren, there's Thomas Jane, there's the late Ray Stevenson, and then there's John Bernthal. But it probably wouldn't have been the Bernthal one in their group because he's returning to play Frank Castle in Daredevil Born Again. But Blade says there's only been 1 Blade and there's only gonna be 1 Blade, which I think was written to be a joke at Blade's expense because in addition to the MCU Mahershala Ali Blade in the works, there was the Kirk Sticky Fingers Jones Blade TV series on Spike in 2006. But hearing this line in the movie, at least right now, it kind of sounds like Wesley Snipes is getting the last laugh because the MCU Mahershala Ali Blade movie keeps getting delayed with a revolving door of directors and screenwriters.
Oh yeah, now just stop, please. Wait, I thought there was supposed to be like an animated one, or was that for a game? What was? Chat, y'all remember there was like an animated Blade thing? Okay, that was a game.
They break back into the compound and Wolverine joins them. Laura puts on her sunglasses.
Yo, sometimes you just gotta drop stuff. You just gotta drop it. Sometimes you just gotta let stuff go, man.
Is that she got at the gas station in Logan. I love that she always kept these. A melee erupts. It's so cool. Blade kills Lady Deathstrike. Wolverine and Deadpool make it up to Cassandra's room in the Skull. Meanwhile, Blade says, some mother still trying to ice skate uphill, which is a callback to that great line from the 1998 Blade film.
Some motherfuckers are always trying to ice skate uphill.
Actually, this line came from Snipes' mind itself. When he was discussing Deacon Frost with the Blade filmmakers, he described the character as a kind of guy who would ice skate uphill. And they loved that line so much that they worked it into the film. And we have to be honest, that is the kind of what the are you talking about energy that Snipes brought to the role, and I think that is the same kind of just trust me.
That's kind of hard though. Like that's a hard line though.
Ego that Ryan Reynolds carried into his take on Deadpool. Cassandra toys with Wolverine as Blade kills Toad and Gambit kills the Russian and Laura severs Juggernaut's legs at the ankles. She flings her backpack containing
y'all
Juggernaut's
show that. Y'all blur a lot of like shit that I think y'all can show, and then y'all show crazy shit.
Dome helmet up to Deadpool. Cassandra has taken Logan into what I assume is
that was so like this girl is sick.
The astral plane with a row of gravestones and distant screams, presumably the X-Men the day the humans came to the mansion when he was away. Cassandra, who chooses to stay in the void to rule her own little kingdom, tells Logan that he can escape his pain by staying with her, and she can silence all the voices. And in that moment, the screams cut out, but not because of Cassandra, but because in this moment, Deadpool has placed Juggernaut's helmet on her head. Cassandra says that she's gonna boil their brains on an atomic level while pleasuring herself, only she didn't
Y'all are
use the term
so
pleasure
weird.
herself.
Y'all are so lost.
And Deadpool gasps, "There's a box set?" Because Deadpool was a big fan of Enya in Deadpool 2. Her songs Caribbean Blue and Only Time were featured in that film. Pyro, who was working a side deal with Paradox, shoots Cassandra and begins to make a speech, but Wolverine cuts him off saying, not everyone gets to make a speech. Wolverine appeals to his and Cassandra's mutual connection to Charles, and he says Charles would have never stopped trying to bring her home if he knew about her. So when they take off the dome, Cassandra rewards them, saying an amateur magician came through the void and she wore his skin around for 4 days, referring of course to Doctor Strange. And remember, in that initial void shot in Loki season 1 episode 5, there was a Sanctum Sanctorum over on the left side of the screen. That's probably how Strange got there. She produces a sling ring, which if you look real closely, has a piece of the time stone and the reality stone on either side. Sling rings normally open portals in geographical space within a single universe, though when Mordo first introduced them in the 2016 Doctor Strange film, he said that they were used to travel the multiverse, but this sling ring must allow the wielder to travel not just through space, but across realities and through time. So Cassandra uses this to open a portal, and they run in slow motion. We hear Jimmy Durante's "I'll be seeing you." As the other Marvel heroes look up in pride, they leap into the portal and cross the threshold right as Goliath is about to devour them. They drop down into the Drive Max parking lot of 10005.
That's Wolverine.
You're damn straight it is. Disney brought him back. They're gonna make him do this.
Okay. You glowed up in front of my eyes like a butterfly that sprouted its wings after being a caterpillar completing metamorphosis in its cocoon. Yo, thanks for the 3 months, dude.
10005.
That's Wolverine.
You're damn straight it is. Disney brought him back. They're gonna make him do this till he's 90.
For what it's worth, Hugh Jackman is 55. Marvel can totally make him keep coming back for the next 35 years. Cassandra figures out that Pyro was working with Paradox, and she confronts Paradox.
What happened to his pinky?
By the TV.
Like, how did that happen? Yo.
A outpost in the subway station on Wade Street.
This is disturbing.
She invades his mind to discover the Time Ripper and decides she wants to use the Time Ripper to destroy every universe until everything is in the void with her, where she can play God. She flings Wolverine and Deadpool down the street into this store. This is Liefeld's Just Feet Orthopedic Solutions, a reference to comics writer and artist Rob Liefeld, co-creator of the Deadpool character, who over the years became known for under-drawing characters' feet. Also for drawing characters with such insane bulky proportions that they would need orthopedic soles in knee braces in order to walk.
Didn't we watch a video about how somebody was isn't that, wait, that's the dude, right? Yeah, that was the dude. We watched the video on his drawings and shit.
Character who over the years,
this was like a while ago,
became known for under-drawing characters' feet. Also for drawing characters with such insane bulky proportions that they would need orthopedic soles in knee braces in order to walk. A portal brings in all the other Deadpools, starting with Mary Poppins, followed by Nice Pool. Wade tells the dog to choose between Original Recipe or Van Wilder, referring to Reynolds' 2002 raunchy comedy. And Nice Pool laughs and says, "I can gently tap on the fourth wall too." And then he simply just turns to the audience to say, "The proposal," and turns back. And of course, while Prime Deadpool would refer to him using a raunchy comedy as a reference, I like how Nice Pool is like, you know what, let's choose a fun rom-com with Sandy Bullock. But following these two is the rest of the Deadpool core
so
that Nice Pool
awkward.
warned about earlier. He says that there are a total of 100 of them. The ones featured prominently are Lady Deadpool or Lady Pool, never unmasked, but voiced by Blake Lively. In the comics, Wanda Wilson is from Earth 3010. There's Headpool, a severed Deadpool head, who in the comics comes from Earth 2149. The Marvel
when I first saw this, I was like, what the hell is this, bro? Like, I want the Wolverine, but I guess this will do. Then I understood.
Marvel Zombies universe, where he was infected
Then it all
from a
made
bite
sense.
by the Silver Surfer. This version of Headpool has buck teeth and wears a helicopter rotor from a striped old-timey leather football helmet. Headpool is actually voiced by Nathan Fillion. There's
what?
From a striped old-timey leather football helmet. Headpool is actually voiced by Nathan Fillion. There's Kidpool from Earth 10330.
Shout out to Nathan
a
Fillion,
misfit
bro.
From Xavier's school who steals two lightsaber-like swords from the Danger Room, but I think this is a different Kidpool. There's Cowboy Deadpool, aka the Deadpool Kid from Earth 1108. He's also part of the Deadpool core in the comics.
That's
He's wanted
fire.
for bank robbery, arson, software piracy, and stampeding pygmy goats through an orphanage. Here, Cowboy Deadpool is voiced by Matthew McConaughey. And just
Bitch, what?
pygmy goats through an orphanage. Here, Cowboy Deadpool is voiced by Matthew McConaughey. And just to run through several more, there's Baby Pool, and a Deadpool wearing a red, white, and green Wrexham AFC colored armor with the dragon logo. Kid Pool is actually voiced by Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively's daughter, Inez Reynolds. And Baby Pool is played by their youngest child, who was born in 2023.
That's so
that we
cool.
mentioned earlier,
That's so
Olin
cool.
Reynolds. There's also a female Deadpool 2099. This is Warda Wilson from Earth 16356. There's also a Golden Age Deadpool. And then there's Zenpool, who's a pacifist Deadpool from the Avengers vs. X-Men 2014 crossover comic event. There's also a samurai Deadpool. There's a Scottish Deadpool with a kilt. And I think this one might be my favorite, a Deadpool dressed like a circus master of ceremonies. Like,
Yo, I'm not gonna lie. I think, no, it's like something I want. This is like, I would want Deadpool to be like that superhero or anti-hero or whatever that kind of just transforms as being like just superhero, like, you know, like a Spider-Man. Like, we stay getting new Spider-Mans, we stay getting new Supermans, we stay getting more Batmans. It doesn't matter how many times they redo it, like, we're gonna watch it because it's Batman. I want that for Deadpool. Like, I can see them doing that, like finding like the perfect actor to try to like probably carry the legacy after Ryan Reynolds, and, you know, easily address, you know, the situations and the switches and things like that. But I don't know. I just want more Deadpool, bro. I want more Deadpool. I don't want it to stop.
P.T. Barnum costume from the great.
You say no now, but it's the same thing with Joker. It's like, yo, after Heath Ledger, like, yo, that's it. Like, you can't do, like, it's done, bro. It's done. Nobody can top that performance. And then Joaquin Phoenix crazy ass came out of nowhere, bro.
Greatest Showman. Now, there was also a dance pool in the credits played by a professional dancer, Nick Pauley, but I think he actually might have been the dance double doing the in-sync choreography in the opening sequence, because I don't know if Ryan Reynolds is that good at dancing. So our Deadpool, Deadpool Prime, asks the others if they can just be done with the multiverse, saying it's just been miss after miss after miss, and that the Wizard of Oz originally did it the best. Now, I totally get multiverse fatigue, but miss after miss after miss? I mean, Loki, What If, and Spider-Man No Way Home were all very well-received multiverse stories. Multiverse of Madness, maybe mixed, but Marvel fans wanted more multiverse from that movie, not less. Everything.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. It's the multiverse stuff that is kind of making me in particular see certain movies. See certain movies and be excited for movies. Bro, Spider-Man, like, yeah, of course I'm gonna see a Spider-Man movie, but having all the Spider-Mans, I really want to fucking see the movie, bro. Into the Spider-Verse, yeah, I want to see this another Spider-Man movie. But you mean to tell me you got all these different Spider-Mans, bro? Like, and they're all working together? Yeah, I definitely want to see that shit. So, like, I feel like that's actually helping. It's been helping. Even though it's like it is milked, it does help because, you know, you're just using shit that people already know about.
Thing Everywhere All at Once won Best Picture. The animated Spider-Verse films are beloved. So I'm wondering what Ryan Reynolds is referring to. The Flash by The Wizard of Oz?
Okay, so yeah, maybe it didn't work with The Flash for me. Maybe that one didn't work. But I think that's because I wasn't really into the whole DC universe.
Does Reynolds think that any dream reality movie counts as multiverse? Or do we think Reynolds knows that some critics are going to say his movie here is not as good as those other examples and he's just trying?
I feel like everything's like, bro, that's the reason why like even multiverses, like the game is so good. What else has been using multiverses or like having different things come together? I don't know. It's just shit like that. I don't know. I like it, bro.
Trying to get ahead of it. I just think that Deadpool is trying to get a rise out of these Deadpool core members to get them to open fire all at once as he uses Nice Bull as a human shield. But Nice Bull does not have healing powers.
You really are God's perfect
God,
idiot,
that scared
aren't you?
The answer is yes.
This is a callback to the opening credits of the 2016 Deadpool.
I feel like even the boys, like how they do, like, you know, how they did like the Batman character or a Spider-Man character, you know, or like certain superheroes, even that is like makes me excited for the next episode because I wonder which character they're gonna like riff off of.
Film where instead of starring Ryan Reynolds, it says starring God's perfect idiot. Deadpool gets Nice Bull's gold-plated Desert Eagles, and he and Wolverine march out to face the full Deadpool core set to Madonna's Like a Prayer. The trailer shot always stopped before we got to this part, but now, finally, Wolverine pulls on his mask from behind his cowl. The mask comes on right as Madonna sings, and it feels like home. And hell yeah, it does. So in an incredible long...
This was my favorite, like, yeah, no, this was my favorite, like, scene. Just how it panned, bruh. But then, like, I felt like it was weird once they got off the bus and then like the whole CGI Hugh Jackman was like standing there. That's the only thing I was like that threw it off. But everything else before that was so fire, bro.
Take brawl. Wolverine and Deadpool just slash through these 100 Deadpools. Deadpool's first move, I love, is to just pose on the lamppost, kind of like a pole dancer. They kill a bunch of Deadpools on a city bus that on the side has an ad for Stan Lee Steamer since 1922 with a photo of Stan Lee. Stan Lee was born in 1922. And then on the back of the bus is another...
Why did they CGI him standing still? I don't know. Maybe he wasn't there. Like, maybe he just wasn't on set or something.
Ad Raymondo Marvelous Morning Soup, which I think could be a tribute to Raymond Ray Chan, a longtime Marvel art director who passed away in April of this year. And he actually gets a wonderful tribute in the credits right above this movie being dedicated to Henry Delaney, Rob Delaney's son, who tragically passed away in 2018. But the Deadpools all regenerate, and Shogun Deadpool has baby arms, kind of like Deadpool's baby hand in the first movie and baby legs.
No, there's definitely like, yeah, they only CGI'd the eyes and like when he put the mask on, but I'm talking about like when he breaks out the bus, it's just him standing there and it's just CG.
He's healing in the
Someone said it was like supposed to be like a joke. I don't know.
Second movie, Peter,
because they didn't even say. I would have thought Deadpool would have like turned to him and be like, dude, why does he look like this? You know?
arrives wearing Deadpool's suit from his locker, and him saying that Wade and Logan are with him is just enough to win these Deadpools over because they all independently love their Peter. And yes, Peter's package is massive. I think that's what B-15 is ogling later. Cassandra connects to the Time Ripper, and it begins to spaghettify this reality, the VFX looking just as it did in Loki Season 2. Paradox explains that the Time Ripper is fed by twin beams of matter and antimatter that, if physically connected by a circuit, would disrupt the Time Ripper but annihilate whoever was that circuit. Wolverine tries to make the sacrifice play, but Deadpool takes his place, referencing Spock by putting his hand on the glass in a kind of salute. Deadpool says that he's not doing this because he needs it, but because they need him to, echoing what Happy Hogan told him being an Avenger was all about.
I waited a long time for this team up.
But since Deadpool can't reach the other beam, Wolverine has to break in, grab his hand, and connect to the other beam. Wolverine's top shreds off, revealing a shredded torso. The children's choir
this
cover
music,
sings the
oh my
words
God,
like a prayer, which perfectly reflect what's happening here. At the midnight hour, I can feel your power. Just like a prayer, I know you'll take me there. Logan and Wade validate each other together as the best Wolverine and in turn a true X-Man. Cassandra is obliterated, the Time Ripper is destroyed, and it seems like Deadpool and Wolverine are wiped out. B-15 arrives, Wun Saku returning from Loki, and looks like she's been promoted to a judge status. But Paradox tries to lie about what really happened, but Deadpool and Wolverine return, still alive. Deadpool explains that if only one of them tried to hold the beams together, they would have died, but both of them together, listening to Madonna, indestructible. Personally, I think they were spared by God of Stories Loki, who was moved by their sacrifices. But his sacrifice looked a lot cooler, let's be honest. Paradox is arrested, and B-15 says,
I want to show you something huge.
Deadpool responds to this saying, that's what Scoutmaster Kevin used to say. Wade brought up Scoutmaster Kevin in Deadpool 2.
Well, like Scoutmaster Kevin used to say, there's a first time for everything, son.
And I think Ryan Reynolds named him Kevin after Kevin Feige. B-15 says that they saved their timeline from extinction and says that there's a lot of work to do, which I think could be a clue.
I don't think Kevin Feige would have allowed that.
Collision course with 616 in a future Avengers vs. X-Men incursion. B-15 promises she'll see what she can do about bringing Laura, Elektra, Gambit, and Blade home. The fact that Laura shows up at the party suggests that Elektra's back home in some Daredevil universe, Blade is back home in his universe, and Gambit is... Elektra's back home in some Daredevil universe. Blade is back home in his universe, and Gambit is who the hell knows where. Deadpool and Logan get shawarma.
Oh my God, I remember. It's because he just didn't want to open his eyes, bro. He didn't want to open his eyes. It's like, dog.
The ending of the Battle of New York in the 2012 Avengers film, Deadpool says, you know, the Avengers discovered shawarma, which is just such a funny line because, like, I think a lot of people didn't even know what shawarma was until they saw it in Avengers. Wade brings Dogpole and Logan home to meet Blind Al. As we were hearing Aretha Franklin's You're All I Need to Get By. I love this song so much. We end the film at the party with Wade's 9 most important people with a few more, Laura, Logan, and Dogpole. And while Vanessa and Wade aren't back together yet, they do share a look. The final shot has Deadpool and Wolverine's masks side by side on top of, what's that? A box of Feige's famous pizza, the same pizza that Wade was eating in the chronologically earliest scene in the 2016 Deadpool film. Green Day's Good Riddance plays over the credits, showing outtakes
Some pizza
from all
would
of Fox's
bust.
Marvel productions, both
Already
ones
ordered
that had
food,
characters
though.
featured in this film and ones that didn't. I love this. It's kind of like how movies from the 90s and the aughts used to end by showing outtakes and just playing some great, wistful, late 90s punk music. And in addition to the post-credit scene, which I talked about in another video, these credits do end, including not just the Marvel Studios logo, but the 20th Century Fox logo. And I love this little touch because as these studios gobble each other up with acquisitions.
Been a crazy minutes since I donated, but side note, I love RDJ coming back as Doom. His performance in Oppenheimer was amazing and proof he can fulfill the role. I do feel bad for Jonathan Majors, bro, got falsely accused and lost such an amazing opportunity.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, that is crazy. Wait, so they're scratching that and going a whole different direction as like Doom is now the big villain? Like he's the Thanos? Oh shit, fuck, damn. I ain't know all that. Yeah, that's cooked.
A movie lover, I just kind of have a weird soft spot for studio logos on old titles that I love. And I always get bummed when I see the post.
Well, you know, I mean, I like RDJ though. That's so fire. They've been doing so good with this, like with the rollout for this.
Disney buyout version of the Fox logo where they removed the word Fox. That 20th Century Fox fanfare music was composed by Alfred Newman, the legendary composer and head of a dynasty of great Hollywood composers and musicians, including David Newman, Thomas Newman, and Maria Newman, and Alfred's nephew, Randy Newman. And before we say goodbye to the 20th Century Fox logo forever, I just wanted to end with that fun little bit of film industry trivia because it means a lot to me. Thank you so much to all of you for watching, and thank you to our editors who worked their butts off to get this breakdown out to you on release day. Comment down below with your favorite part of this movie. Follow me at EA Voss. Subscribe to all three channels in the Rockstars Network for breakdowns.
Every time you knock it out the park, bro.
Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.
Every time you knock it out the park, bro. Did he talk about? Yeah, he talked about the ending, the after credits, bro. W after credits, man. Just this. It's so funny seeing him like.
Yo, since you like the underground music, Mood Swangs, which is a clothing brand, just released an exec-produced album with 14 of the biggest artists in
All right, what happened? I don't know what happened. What happened to the sound? Yo, I don't know what. Yo, it's crazy. It was crazy, like hearing him say all that shit at the end in the after credits, when as Captain America, he was literally telling people not to curse. He was literally telling people not to curse. That was insane to see that. All right, chat.